If you're traveling to Vietnam, here's exactly how I applied for my eVisa. My specific trip date was from May 23 to June 3rd for 2026. I applied for my eVisa on May 1st, so a little less than a month before I had to leave. The first thing you want to do is apply online through the official Vietnam eVisa website. You should be on this page, and then this is how it will look like. You pick apply now, declaration instructions. If everything checks out, then just click the two boxes below and press next. Next, it'll take you to this page where you upload a passport style photo, and then you want to upload a picture of your passport. Next, it'll ask you for your personal information. Then it'll ask you for your entry. I left on May 23rd and landed on May 24th. However, I just chose to put the date May 23rd for my single entry, and then I left on June 3rd, so I put June 3rd. Next, it's basic passport information. Then it asks you for your occupation. Just fill it out as best as you can. This next part is where I really needed the most help. So you want to click tourist for purpose of entry. Then your intended date. So I put May 23rd. Since I leave on June 3rd, it was 11 days of stay. For the residential address, because I went with Ultimate Break, they provided my hotel information exactly 1 month before we left. We stayed at the Grand Citadel Hanoi Hotel. So that's the address information I inputted. When it was time to put the province city, it was hard to find Hanoi. That was one mistake I did. So instead what I did is I just clicked the drag bar and looked for it manually. I went down until I reached the H, and then I found it. Next was the ward. The hotel was located in Hoi An Kiem ward. Again, I dragged it down and just found it manually. Next is intended border gate of entry. So if you are flying there, you want to choose the airport. However, this was my next mistake. I tried looking for Hanoi Airport, but it goes by a different name. You want to look for Noi Bai International Airport. Of course, just choose the airport name that you are going to fly into if it's something different. For my trip, I fly into Hanoi. However, I leave through Ho Chi Minh. This was my next mistake. I had accidentally clicked Seaport because I looked up Ho Chi Minh manually. However, it also goes by a different name. You want to look for Tan Son Nhat International Airport. Unless you are flying through a different airport, of course. Then just look up the one you want to go through. Then, click that if it applies. Because I went through Ultimate Break Travel Agency, I wasn't sure whether to put no or yes. For this specifically, I just put no because it was just information I wasn't sure of. However, if you'd like to do it yourself, go for it, It's going to ask you for the name of the hosting organization, the telephone number, the address, and the purpose. Again, because Ultimate Break is based in England, I really wasn't sure what to put for address and telephone number and everything else. So if you want to click no and you're still going with the travel agency, it's perfectly fine. Next, I answered no for the next two questions. Number 7 doesn't apply to me, so I skipped it. Trip expense, honestly, just fill it out as best as you can. If everything checks out, then just click the box and press next. It should then ask you to submit the application and then do your payment. Then after you do that, it will send you a confirmation to your email. It should look like this. And then there's a PDF in the bottom. If you click it, it just gives you another payment confirmation. I submitted my application on May 1st and I heard back on May 6th. I got an email notifying me of the decision. It should look like this. It'll ask you to click the link to view the details. Once you do it, it'll take you to the page again. You should be on this page. Just make sure to fill out all the information again. Once you click submit, it takes you to this page, and under application status, it should say acceptance. Then you want to click the button get eVisa. It'll just ask you how you want to save it. Once you open it up, the PDF should look like this. And you want to make sure that you print 2 copies for when you leave, one for when you enter the airport, and one when you leave the airport, just in case. I hope this helped. If you're booking with EF Ultimate Break like I did, check out my referral link below for a first trip discount. Until next time.